Привет, ребят, девчат. Надеюсь, у вас все ништяк. 2,89 бензин. Спасибо деду за победу. Я еду. Пикап. Будет сегодня много английского, я надеюсь. Забрать свою родственницу. Теперь вопрос на засыпку. Я спросил у дочки, кто она нам. История такая. У жены старший брат Фил имеет сына Ник. Это его жена. Она родители из Вьетнама. Ну, конечно, там свободный, не то что свободный английский вообще. Четко. Зовут ее Chau. Вот кто мне она? Едем с Chau. Hello, Chau.
Hello.
I already introduced guys in the first part, like who you are. Now I find out, я узнал, кто она мне. So who you are to me in that relative tree thing.
So I am Sasha's niece-in-law. I am married to Sasha's nephew. So yeah.
Nick. Yeah, cool.
Nick.
Okay. Так, ребята, я Саша in Leslie's family. It's long story, это длинная история. Means I'm sorry. Usually people, кто Саша? Who is Саша? Я Саша, если я в семье Лесли. Okay, we clear on this.
Okay.
Cool. You're going to make dinner.
Yes.
Vietnamese.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, go ahead. People will learn. Always asking me like okay, can somebody of your, family members or friends like speak English? Okay, ребята, you got it.
Okay. Yeah. So I can talk a little bit about what I'm planning to make for
Yes,
dinner today.
yes, please.
So for today, I am thinking of making 3 dishes. I am going to make some green beans, so a green bean salad, and it's going to be green beans with some carrots and cucumbers, so nothing too complicated. But I am going to make the dressing so that it is a Vietnamese dressing.
Vietnamese dressing.
Instead of regular dressing, which is normally, I think, in the West or in the U.S. where we live. Normally people would use something like olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some kind of garlic or some other kind of acid or honey in order to make the dressing. But the dressing that I'm going to make tonight is going to be a mix of fish sauce, which is a very popular cooking sauce or condiment in Vietnamese cuisine.
Okay.
And some honey, some garlic, and a bit of water to kind of water it down. So that's going to be the dressing for the cucumber, green beans, and carrot salad. So that's going to be the appetizer.
Oh, nice.
Another appetizer that I'm thinking of making is the fresh summer rolls. And it is a famous dish of southern Vietnamese cuisine. And it consists of vermicelli, which is just like white rice noodles, with some greens. So it could be lettuce or like romaine lettuce or some other kind of kind of like softer leafy greens, with shrimp and scallion and some cucumbers and carrots, and it's just wrapped together in a rice paper, and then you dip it in a dipping sauce that is pretty similar to the dressing that I make for the cucumber and green bean salad. So a mixture of fish sauce, water, honey, and I think and just some ground pepper for seasoning. So that's the fresh rolls, and then the main dish of the dinner is going to be noodles. So it's stir-fried noodles, and it's basically like a glass cooking, but I like to use mirin in my cooking because it really kind of sweetens the dish, but in like not in an aggressive way, in a very light and pleasant way. And then typically I would. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, and also some garlic, and it's basically like a very simple stir-fried dish, but it has a lot of different ingredients, and it has like a simple but very yummy condiment, and I would normally garnish it with some cilantro, some fresh garlic, and have like a bit of a you squeeze some lime juice on top, and then you eat it, and it's very, very fresh. So that's the plan for dinner, and Sasha and I are currently going to the grocery store to get all the ingredients that we need to make that dinner.
Specific ingredients, and this is small market store
Yes.
near my office. Недалеко от офиса мы идем на рынок, and you probably shop a little bit at the Findlay Market, or we're just going to the Kroger after that.
Yeah, I think we would just do Saigon Market, which is that small Asian market, and then we are going to Kroger's after that to get the main ingredients like green beans, carrots.
Okay.
Pork. All the rest of the things that are pretty universal ingredients and not the Asian ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, Chau, tell me about your immigration and what you're doing, about your whatever you can tell me. I
Right.
know something, but it's always our conversations not very detailed.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, I am a Vietnamese national. I came to the U.S. about 16 years ago, and I was going to high school in the U.S. I applied to the high school here, and then I came when I was in 9th grade. I came on my own, so my parents didn't come with me, and I have been here in the U.S. pretty much on my own since then. My family is still currently in Vietnam, in Hanoi, which is the capital of the country.
Correct.
And every year I try to go back to Hanoi to visit my family, though sometimes it is hard, particularly during the COVID area,
Right.
where there was just a lot of restrictions on travels, and so I wasn't able to see my family for 4 years during COVID.
Oh my goodness.
And so last year, in fact, was the first time in 4 years I was able to come home and see my family. And in 2 months, my husband, Nick, and I are going to Vietnam again to celebrate Lunar New Year, which is basically the biggest holiday in Vietnam. And I'm very excited about that because even though I try to go home and visit them once a year, I never got a chance to visit my family during Lunar New Year. And so next year will be the first time in 17 years that I celebrate the biggest holiday in Vietnam with my family.
That's awesome.
I'm
Cool.
very excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
I told guys you know Ну погоди,
Погоди.
cartoon, да.
Yes.
Еще раз она, if you can tell something about it. Я ее спрашиваю, что она знает о Ну погоди. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So.
And your relatives speaking Russian fluent. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Let's
So.
combine that.
Yeah, so this is an interesting fact about Vietnam, and it is that, a lot of people in Vietnam of the generation who was born in the 50s or the 60s, actually there are quite a few of them who speak very good Russian. And the reason is that back in those days, Vietnam was a communist country, and it still is a communist country, but back in those days, Vietnam was at war with the U.S. And I think there's like a certain connection that a lot of Vietnamese people feel with Russia, mostly because both are communist countries, and there is that kind of ideological connection that people felt.
Right.
But my family being from the north of Vietnam, which is the communist part of Vietnam, was a lot of my family members studied Russian, and a lot of them actually went to the Soviet Union coming for you. Just you wait. And I don't know. Nu pagadi. Nu pagadi.
That makes sense. Nu
Yeah.
pagadi, like
Nu pagadi.
wait.
Yeah, just
Yes,
wait. Yeah.
just wait. Yeah,
So-
I'll
so
come
in-
back with the. Yeah, you have to
I'm
come
gonna
up.
like revenge. Right?
Yeah.
And
You
take
come
revenge.
into me like with a knife. I'll bring the gun next time.
Yeah. Nu pagadi. Yeah. So it's called Hai Doi Day in Vietnamese, and I used to watch that, when I was a kid, and it was quite popular in Vietnam. I don't think that it's as popular now. Actually, I don't think kids in this generation, in like the younger generation, that watch those shows. But in my generation, the millennial generation who was born in the early 90s, it was very, very popular. And we often watch that alongside Tom and Jerry, which seems like there's some parallel there
Parallel
between the cast of characters. And yeah, it was just like a lovely cartoon. I remember it being very very humorous, and I recall kind of rooting for the bunnies for the most part when I was small, because he seems like a very clever bunny who always came out as a winner of the conflict.
Yes.
But I also sometimes recall feeling kind of bad for the wolf, because he seemed to be constantly fooled by the bunny. And he's just like this big guy, but not really a smart one, and he gets into all kinds of trouble, and he always get outwitted by the bunny. So yeah, that was a fun cartoon to see.
Smarter person, winning. Almost in any situation.
So like the brains over muscles seems to be
exactly.
the moral of the story.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So with communist era means I don't know how really communist, not big deal. My point is like they let you go to do like program, because the Soviet Union education system was like top of the line those days. So they invest a lot.
Yeah, there were a lot of very renowned scientists and probably artists too, who were coming out of Russia in those days. I remember mostly scientists. Soviet science was
exactly.
With
all that people saying like, oh, Soviet Union and bad, no. See, for Vietnam it was super advantage. You getting like free education, top of the line free education, right?
Right.
They didn't charge you any money, you just like
Yeah,
sign for the project and done deal.
Yeah, a lot of the best, brightest minds in Vietnam of those days, they would go to the Soviet Union to study. And so like thankfully I think my uncle and my aunt were both very, very promising students in their respective fields, and so because of that they were able to get scholarships to the Soviet Union. And I think my aunt, I don't remember where my aunt was. I think she might have been in Uzbekistan, but my uncle was in Moscow for the most part of his education in the Soviet Union.
Super nice. So but now I'm not sure if you want kind of still university, maybe for like foreign languages you'll get like very top education, in Moscow right now.
In Moscow.
In Russia in general, right?
Right.
Maybe still, I don't know, I just my guess, maybe something about like nuclear, some physics.
Oh yes. Yeah, nuclear physics probably
Stuff
was
like
very
this.
top of the line.
Medical, I don't think so. I don't think so. Again, it was a little bit behind always. Now it's probably a huge gap,
Yeah.
So very cool.
Yeah. Did you have a lot of family members who emigrated to Hungary or to other
No,
countries? United States, the
absolutely
Soviet Union?
impossible. Yes.
It's very hard to leave. then.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in the communist regime, it's again almost impossible. Defecting or something, you need some extreme stuff to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so kind of crazy. Cool.
And did you grow up in Moscow? Or?
I did.
Oh,
yes,
see.
I'm totally Muscovite, and it was pretty good childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no problem.
I remember When I was small, I actually learned some Russian songs. Actually, I don't know how to sing it in Russian, but my aunt and uncle taught me. There's like the birthday song. There's a cartoon about. I think it's like the crocodile and the little bear-like character.
Oh,
the crocodile is-
Чебурашка?
Chiburashka, yeah.
Like looking very funny,
yeah.
the little
It's
character,
like the little
yes.
crocodile and like the little bear-like guy who was very small, and they weren't enemies, right? They were friends.
I think they were friends.
They were friends.
Crocodile Gena
Crocodile Guinea. Ah, I see. And then
and
the Chiburashka.
Чебурашка.
And then there's and then there's a song that went something like
Perfect.
Yeah.
You got it.
And
Something about helicopter. And
it
they just
helicopter?
come, in blue helicopter, which is now with all LGBT whatever stuff, like blue color, not good in Russia. I'm not kidding.
Is that like, so the song is about helicopter?
A song about like friendship, yes, but they will
Friendship.
come, I think, in the blue helicopter, to bring friends or something like this.
Oh, I see.
Honestly don't remember, but
Yeah, that is interesting. And I heard that Russians sing that for their for birthdays, or is that or special celebration, or is that song? I heard that there's some kind of cultural significance in that song, and that gets sung during birthday or celebration or something like that. Or is that not true?
not sure because
Uh-huh.
I was like grew up. I already like older guy,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I don't think so.
Mm.
But so we'll see. But it's like everybody knows. Probably for kids, small kids, they singing that stuff.
I see.
So we're going to take a chance to park.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
not,
sounds good.
you just go and I'll see you later.
Yeah, sounds
Окей, ребята, ну что, сейчас мы немножко будем, может быть, будет задержка, и я постараюсь припарковаться, вместе с ней пойти на рынок. Если нет, то я ее оставлю, где-то припаркую машину, и мы продолжим.
good. Bye.
Bye.
свидания.
До свидания. Chau, what's this in Vietnamese?
Vietnamese summer rolls. Summer rolls.
Summer rolls
Yeah.
in Vietnamese language.
I think it is called gỏi cuốn.
Okay, so first a round of applause for Chau.
Yes.
Thank you guys for everyone's help. I got a lot of
Woo.
help from folks.
You can have,
Cool.
if you want them, 2 of the spring rolls, and then there's dipping sauce, and then as much, and then your salad, and as much.
Yes.
Вот это,
So,
вот это,
one
вот
or
это,
two
вот
spring
это.
roll per person.
Сейчас
And we
инструкции
recommend
все
that
получим,
you
сколько
put the
чего
wedge
брать,
of
когда,
lime, because that's going to- you can squeeze that on top of the
чтобы не
roll,
перебрали.
so it
Ну вот это вот, ребят, это просто чума. Я рецептик
I think you
зацеплю.
should just put it on the roll.
Yeah, you don't want to dip,
С наступающим.